Today, on Be Something Wonderful, how do I shift realities and know it? Here's how. I am your host, Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. Big session yesterday with this client. And this client brought up the idea that we've talked about in the teachings of Neville Goddard and so forth, and as it says in Scripture, in Paul, it says, test me, right? Test the law, test this idea that you are reality, that you create your own reality, that I am determines your world, right? And Neville Goddard quotes Scripture in that. And this client said, well, Tom, I did test it. I changed, but reality hasn't changed yet. And here's really what I want to say, and I really want to unpack this because we had an amazing session, huge movement within her. And I said, that's the test. This is what Bashar talks about as well, which we're going to hit today. Bashar talks about this whole idea, that is the test. The test is not whether you've changed and whether the physical reality has changed to reflect that. The change is, are you seeing reality differently now, whether it's changed or not? Wow. Do you hear it? Are you looking now through the eyes of that new identity? Are you seeing it differently than you did before? Are you responding to it differently? Is your relationship to reality different than it was before? That's the test we're talking about. Because when you stand in that and respond differently, react differently, see it differently, then reality must change. The outer world must change. That mirror must change. I want to hit this like we never have before. How do I know? In other words, I've shifted to my desired reality. How do I know that I am that new reality? Or how do I know I've shifted to my desired reality? But it's the same thing as asking, how do I know I am that new reality? Because you said so. In other words, because I am said so. Right? What God declares, announces, God claims, and it is so. Do you hear it? You declare it in that. But if you keep looking at reality from testing it from that standpoint, reality, show me then. You are reality. You're the one that announces it. Right? In the beginning was I am. And I am was with God. And I am was God. Before Abraham was, I am. And I'm just saying, take out was and say, in the beginning, I am. And I am with God. And I am God. Before Abraham, I am. It's all you. Do you see it? We're going to hit this, though, like we never have before. So you're shifting realities every moment of now, right? You don't have to know how to shift realities. It's natural to you. It's your nature. Every moment you're in a new reality. You're in a new earth, right? It's an entirely new reality than you were in the moment before. You are constantly shifting to new physical parallel realities. It's natural. It's your nature. It's your name, I am, right? The name of God, I am that. That's your nature, right? You're always defining who you are in every moment with your thoughts and assumptions and beliefs, right? Ultimate reality, I am, your true nature never changes. But your experience of reality, or your physical experience of reality constantly changes, right? You're always standing in a new physical parallel reality than the moment before. So I am never changes. But how you condition that, what you think about that, how you define that concept of yourself, your vibration, your frequency, that being that you are, that you decide, that changes that physical experience of reality. When? In every moment. Now, now, now. As Abraham Hicks says, now, 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 every moment, right? So, shifting realities is second nature to you. It's your second nature, in other words, right? Your first nature is I am. Your second nature is I am that. And you're defining that, just like Jesus said, who do you say I am? In every moment you're defining that with the mix of your beliefs and assumptions, right? I am is unconditional love of all that is. It's your second nature to choose to express your first nature or that unconditional love, right? Your true nature, consciously. That's what Conversations with God, Neil Donald Walsh says. It's your second nature to choose to express your first nature, your true nature, consciously. In other words, that I am. that love that you are. You're expressing that. That's your second nature to choose how to express that. That's what Neil Donald Walsh is saying. It's your second nature to choose to express your first nature, your true nature consciously. Shifting realities is second nature. It's your second nature, and you're doing it in every moment. How? By deciding what you're imagining, what you're believing, what you're assuming in this moment, and it changes it, right? So all negative feelings and emotions are simply thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions that are not aligned with and don't reflect your true nature. That's all that is, right? That's all thoughts and feelings. That's why it feels bad. You're only ever feeling your assumptions and your beliefs and your thoughts about reality. They're not reality. Right? That's your second nature, right? It's not the true first nature of who you are. That's why it feels bad. You're only ever feeling your assumptions. You're only ever feeling your beliefs. You're only ever feeling your thoughts about reality. But that's not reality. Reality, ultimate reality, is love. That's why it feels bad. Your mix of thoughts and beliefs and assumptions are changing constantly. That's your second nature, right? Resulting in you shifting realities constantly, choosing how to express your first nature, I am. Do you get this, guys? This is big today. So, as you think, believe, and assume, in other words, imagine and affirm. We've talked a lot about imagining your wish fulfilled, affirming it, assuming it. As you assume your reality as you would like it to be, you shift parallel physical realities to your imagined desired reality. That's how you shift. As you think, believe, and assume, declare, imagine, and affirm reality as you would like it to be. And declare that you are now in that reality and see all conditions, all outer conditions as that new reality. You shift parallel physical realities to your imagined desired reality. Learning the shift. This is what Bashar says. We're going to hit Bashar a lot today. Learning the shift is not something you have to do. You do it automatically by your own second nature. Here's Bashar talking about your second nature. We talked about it with conversations with God. It is your second nature, right? It is natural to you to shift. This is the nature, second nature of how reality works. Physical experience of reality, in other words. That's how it works. This is the nature of how change or movement in time exists. That's what change is. Change is movement in time. They're both illusions, time and movement, right? Because what are you really doing? You're not moving anywhere, and there's no time. You're shifting realities. You're shifting to another parallel reality in this moment and now, in this moment and now, in this moment and now, right? Wow, that's your nature, right? So let's hit this. That's why persisting in your imagined end, your assumption, is so powerful. To persist is to shift. To persist is the shift. You're always persisting in and shifting to something. The question is it lack of what you want, or is it the love of what you want? Do you get it? Are you persisting or shifting in the lack of what you want or the love of what you want? You're always persisting in and shifting to something or a new reality. That's the question. So this is what Bashar says. So the question is not, can you shift? The question is, what will you shift to? Love or lack? And how different will you allow the shift to be based on your definitions and your belief systems of what you believe is possible for you? Wow. Do you hear that? So the question is not whether you can shift. The question is, what will you shift to? How different will you allow the shift to be based on your definitions and your belief systems of what you believe is possible for you? That's why Jesus asked his disciples that question. Who do you say I am? Right now, law of assumption, law of being, law of vibration, law of frequency. Who are you being? Right? That's the illusion. Everything's connected. Everything's happening out at once, all right now. What determines the difference of what you're experiencing? Your being, your state of being. Who do you say you are? Your vibration. Everything's vibrating at a different frequency. What's your frequency? What's your assumption? What's your being? Right? So, persisting in the assumption of your ideal reality is what it means to raise your vibration. That's what that means. As your mix of thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions change, your vibration and frequency changes. And the physical reality you experience changes. You shift to a new one. Every moment you're shifting to a new one. Your vibrations are always changing. in that moment. You're always different than you were the moment before. As your mix of thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions change, your vibration and frequency changes, and therefore the physical reality you experience changes. You shift to a new one. This is what Bashar says. You don't have to wait to shift. You've been shifting all your lives. This is the way motion is created, right? In other words, movement through time and space. Motion and time are created like that, right? They're both illusions. This is what happens when you create the illusion of movement and the illusion of time, because you're not moving through either. The only way to create the illusion of movement and time is to actually shift from parallel reality to parallel reality. That's slightly different than the reality you were in the moment before. Do you get it? You're shifting to parallel reality. That's how you create this idea of motion and time. You're shifting parallel reality. You're shifting to a new physical reality, a new earth, right? So that reflects your beliefs and assumptions in the moment. So remember, here's the idea, and this is how I've shown this in other videos. Here's every frame, the blue frame being your current frame slide, is a new reality. You're in a new reality in each moment. In each current moment of now, that blue frame is different. That's your current frame. Shifting realities means shifting frames, which creates the illusion of movement through time and space. You're not moving through time and space, you're just shifting frames. It's a new frame, a new moment in time. There you are, right? And the dark being what you would call the past frames, the future, the violet being the future frames, but remember, it's all happening right now. And as you are in the current frame, you shift to another frame. As your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, what are you imagining within? What are you assuming, right? Whatever that you would consider that your future frame, right? The next frame you're going to occupy. And as you light that up, you move to that new frame, and you move to that new frame. You're constantly moving and shifting parallel realities, right? They're not really parallel, but it gives you that idea. Right? So you're shifting now, Bashar. You're shifting now. You're shifting now. This is what he says. He goes, you're shifting now. You're shifting now. You're shifting now. Like Abraham Hicks says, now, 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 now. Why are they all saying now? Because through constantly shifting parallel realities, each new reality you shift to is very similar to the one you were existing before. That's why they call it parallel realities, right? Unless you really imagine something different. Right? But even as you imagine something different, you're still shifting realities. That's why you're still seeing things that look similar to the other conditions, but they're different as you light up that new reality. That's why it's so important to see only your imagined end, only that which fulfilled. Look at all conditions like that, because as you do, you're shifting parallel realities. But the one that you go to in that moment before looks very similar, but you're moving. Right? But it's when you stop and say, well, the conditions haven't changed, then you move to other realities that reflect it not changing. In other words, realities that you don't want. You're always shifting. Think of it like the old flip books, where you had that each page had a figure, a stick figure, and the stick figure was different positions. And as you flip the book, it gave you the idea of movement and time through that this stick figure was changing, but it wasn't. It was just a flip book. It was just the illusion of all those frames moving. That's what's going on here. So really, this is what Bashar says, really focus on the idea of the frequency, the vibrational frequency, the state of being. So do you see, he's tying in the idea of frequency and vibration with your state of being. In other words, your assumption of who you are. Who do you say you are? That you prefer your reality to be. Remember, your reality reflects your state of being. I love the way he words this. Really focus on the idea of frequency, the vibrational frequency, the state of being that you prefer your reality to be, because your reality is just what you vibrate, what your frequency is, who you say you are, the concept of yourself, right? When you change the vibration of your being, the law of being, it's not that you change the world, right? You're not changing others or changing the world. You're moving to a new world. Wow. A new earth, a new reality, a new physical reality in that moment. where the others in that reality reflect your new state of being, your new vibrational set point, as Abraham Hicks would say, right? It's that you shift yourself to a parallel earth or reality already existing on the vibratory level you have created within. Bashar, perfectly talking about it. There you are, current frame. As you light up what you want, as you have a preference on who you want to be, that vibration, you move to that. There it is. That's that new physical reality. There is no one to change but self. That's what Neville Goddard said. Fits perfectly here, guys. So everything exists, Bashar again, everything exists at once, all now, in a sense, all here. So he's saying, in a sense, all here. It is. It's all here and now. But you create the illusion of separation by creating differences in vibrational frequency. In other words, differences in your thoughts and assumptions and beliefs are who you are in your relationship to the world. That's how you determine who and what you're conscious of being. It's about creating the state that you prefer in your own being. This is Bashar. And allowing, this is big, reality to reflect back to you the shift that you have made in yourself. But, he says, the opposite's also true. You cannot perceive what you're not, what you are not the vibration of. Or as Abraham Hicks says, what you're not the vibrational match of. You can't see it. You cannot perceive what you're not the vibration of or conscious of being. Do you see? They're all saying the same thing, right? It's you that determines it. Right? Just like Vadim Zeland says, the world won't smile back at you until you smile. You got to smile first, and then the world will smile back. Right? But if it doesn't smile back immediately, we wonder what's wrong. And then we get all frustrated. And then we're not smiling anymore. Do you get it? Remember, what you are not the vibration of remains invisible to you. Wow, Bashar. In other words, if you have this new reality that in your career, that you got this great career opportunity, that you took it and that you're successful, well, those opportunities won't show themselves. They're invisible to you until you move in the conscious of being that person, right? Otherwise, you're not going to see those doors. You're not going to see the doors that you need to walk through. You're not going to meet the people that you need to meet. Do you see it? Remember, you're not the vibration of what you are not the vibration of remains invisible to you. It just remains invisible. That's the answer to why it hasn't changed. Why hasn't my reality changed? Because you haven't, and you haven't stood in that reality and looked through at all conditions through that new viewpoint. Right? That's how you become the vibration. Otherwise, it all remains invisible to you. It's all happening now, but you just can't see it. Right? Wow. So your entire physical experience of reality is based upon your strongest belief or assumption it can be, how you define yourself and your relationship to it. This really comes from Bashar. I love this. Your entire physical experience is your strongest belief about it. Wow. Whether that's positive or negative. In other words, there is no positive or negative, but whether that limits you or not. You've got to decide that. But that's how you define yourself in relation to all experiences in life are based upon, in your physical reality, Bashar, the strongest definition you have bought into about reality. In other words, your root assumption, your sponsoring belief, your sponsoring thought. Whatever that is, that's what you get. You cannot, and this is what he says, you cannot be affected in your reality without your permission, without your agreement. I love he uses this word agreement. If you don't agree with it, it can't be your reality, right? You're accepting all possibilities. You know those conditions are out there, but you're not going to agree with it. So no one can affect you. Everyone creates their own reality. No situation or condition causes anything. He's talking about that all conditions are neutral. Life is neutral. You determine what life is, right? It is your definition of your relationship to that situation or to life that allows you to experience what you experience. It's all neutral. You decide what it means to you, or reality means to you. So powerful. So, what's the big takeaway? I have changed, but I'm not seeing a change in my outer reality. Therefore, something must be wrong. This is Bashar using this exact example that this client was asking. In other words, test me. Right, test me. And you thought, well, I'm going to test and then I don't see it. That's not what test me means. This is what Bashar says. He says it very clearly here. I have changed, but I'm not seeing a change in my outer reality. Therefore, something must be wrong. Bashar says that's the test. The test is not whether the outer reality has changed to reflect the change you say you've made. The test is whether you respond to the outside reality differently than you did before, even if it still looks the same. That's what tells you you've changed. Wow. No, you have changed. Persist in that new identity. That's the test, despite the conditions. Then, what Bashar says, you can allow your physical reality within the space-time construct to take whatever time it needs to reflect back to you the certainty of the change you now know you have made within yourself, right? By the way you now relate to everything in your life differently than before. In other words, you must shift. You are in that new reality, and it will reflect back to you as you it. That's how do I shift realities and know it? That's how. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, the Ambassadors, Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors, at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful, where you can share insight and guidance with others and ask for insight and guidance. Thank you for joining us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin. Thank you for joining our membership channel, where we have additional content. There is another video coming up on the membership channel, plus a live stream on Sunday, May 21st, coming up, 2023 here this month at 9 a.m. in the morning, right here, live from Las Vegas, you and me. And your questions that you're asking, send those to info@besomethingwonderful.com. Creators, with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude, this is Tom with Be Something Wonderful. We'll see you soon.